There's a lot of talk this year about graphite shafts not only in your longer stuff but also in your irons. And that's exactly what we're talking about today here on Your Everyday Golfer. So what we want to talk about today, guys, is the phobia of people having graphite shafts. If you're getting graphite shafts, if you're a mid-handicap golfer, if you're a middle-aged golfer, you often fear going to graphite because that's the sign of you are declining. You're declining in speed, you need that little bit of help, so you go to graphite. But that's not the case. Obviously, graphite has made absolutely huge improvements over the year, more so than your steel shafts, because obviously your steel shafts have kind of reached what they can do, whereas with graphite we can do a lot of things. So you can get a softer tip, you can get a firmer tip. It's all about what kind of ball flight you're looking to produce. And also what we can do with graphite shaft is we can play around with that weight. So we can play around with the weight in the shaft. And if we can play around with the weight in the shaft, we can play around with how much club head speed you get, but also with what kind of trajectory and distance you are going to get. We can make clubs a little bit lighter, we can still get great strikes, we can get great launch control. So guys, why would you not put graphite in your bag? And this here, as the boys put a stripe show on behind, is exactly what you can also consider. So we've got a wedge shaft here, so you can see this, we've got the Catalyst spinner shaft 80 gram wedge flex. So again, this is a little bit lighter, and this for me, for a lot of golfers, probably 90% of golfers, would be a fantastic option. So what this is going to do for you, for a lot of people, is get a better understanding of the weight of the head and get you releasing the golf club. Because for me, a lot of people start to try and hold that club off, start to drive it, they've got a steel shaft, they've got to drive the hands, got to keep it low, got to get contact. But here what it's going to allow us to do is get a better understanding of letting that club head fall and do the work for us. Obviously here what we're going to be able to do, as Ollie breaks down in the background, is be able to play different shots. If I still want to play that low one, I can get my setup to get that coming out low. I'm still releasing that club head, as you will see. It's out in front of me, and that's a nice strike out to the centre, but a low ball flight. But I've got an understanding of where that head is. I've released that head, but still played a low shot. If I want to play the higher one here, I'm going to again get my setup correct, make it a little bit wider, release that club head, and you can see there, club head's still out in front of me, but that's two different releases or two different setups to get the ball flight I've designed. This shaft could really help a lot of people lower your scores around the green as well, because around the green is very important, as it's often the part of the game that is overlooked. So it's often the part that maybe you don't go for lessons, but if you are looking for lessons, you are looking to improve, especially this part of the game, or with your putter, then please do drop me an email on that email below. You'll also see with putters now, we do have the Stroke Lab shaft, which is part graphite. Again, to get a little bit better swing and control on your putts or your putter head to help you lower your score. So should graphite be in your bag? It doesn't matter your handicap. It doesn't matter, obviously, your club head speed. It could help everyone. I'm going to go for a fitting in a couple of weeks with some iron heads, see if a graphite shaft could outperform a steel. Then you might decide that it's not the stereotypical for older people, for ladies, for juniors, but not for your everyday golfer. So guys, we have 2 3-irons here, 2 driving irons, which is often the big question when you're getting a driving iron is obviously shaft. We have one with a KBS 120 gram shafting, and we have the other one here with a KBS hybrid 80 gram. Both stiff shafts, but 40 grams difference. So you can see here that potentially we've got 2 different golfers who could use different shafts. You might get a little bit more speed out of this, but what I'm going to probably see here, because these are both hollow body design clubs, is we might see a little bit higher trajectory here with the graphite shaft, and maybe even see a little bit more distance because it's that little bit lighter. We might be able to generate a little bit more speed. So we just cleared the driver ball flights from a driver video I've just done. So let's start with the graphite. It's a Como 80 gram shaft here. So again, a good strike there. Low penetrating ball flight in the bullseye. 223 carry going 241. So a little bit lower than I expected there, but a solid strike. Let's just quickly check those numbers. Again, ball speed up there, 141. Club head speed right up there. Spin under 2,000, so a nice knuckle ball there. That's more the trajectory that I normally see. Yeah, it just feels easier to get in the air. I've not tried to do that. 226 carry, going 240. So very consistent there. Yes, two different ball flights there. 3,500 spin, exactly what I would expect to see from this kind of club. And there, slightly toe struck. So how much distance will we lose there? 20 yards and 25 yards total. A little bit higher, 3,700. A missed strike, but it would still be in play as such. We're going to switch over now to a similar design club. Obviously hollow body. We have got the Cobra utility. So again, I'm expecting to see a lower ball flight. This is where obviously we've got a little bit of a heavier shaft. Will I be able to get it as far? Will it be less carry and more run? That's the big question here. Straight away there, a much lower ball flight. A little bit left, that's more me. 228, going 245. But straight away there, 2,500 spin. So dropping quickly with that shaft different being in there. Again, for me, certainly felt a lot heavier. I've been used to having a driving iron with a lighter shaft in. Again, I think that'd be a great ball flight and spin for links golf, but maybe not for Parkland. That's me trying to hit it high, straight away there with a steel shaft. A terrible shot. And again, that's from me trying to manipulate that club. Certainly is a total different feel. So when you go for a fitting, make sure you test this out. Because a lot of people stay away from driving irons because they think steel shaft a little bit heavy. If we can get a nice light graphite shaft in there, that could do all the work for you. That's a better strike. That's the highest I think I would be able to get it. 228 carry. So it does carry a little bit further and does go a little bit further, but that's because of the spin rate, that's because of the launch we're getting from that. Clubhead speed very similar, but you can see there, depending on your golf, depending where you play, you could have two different options. Again, having that graphite shaft, you can play it low, you can also play it a little bit higher with a little bit more ease. Very difficult to get this with a steel shaft up in the air. That's why a lot of people drop your 3 irons out of your bag or your 4 irons. So really consider that. But obviously if we could do the same and do that in the irons, get that little bit more launch, make it a little bit easier to play, would you go graphite throughout the bag?